So if you've been keeping up with the news over the weekend on VGN, you'll know that it was kind of an eventful weekend, especially on Sunday. We had an attack that was launched against several gaming websites. Blizzard, PlayStation Network was the big one, and Sony was taken offline for the majority of the day. Now, there was actually supposed to be a scheduled maintenance on Monday where the system was going to be taken offline, so a lot of people just assumed that Sony had updated it and, changed it to the day earlier, so that's why they were offline. But in all actuality, it was an attack that actually brought down the PlayStation Network. Now, the group claiming responsibility for this, there's a few people claiming responsibility. The one that's getting the most notoriety is Lizard Squad, because they seem to be sending out tweets that do coincide whenever these problems do start happening. Now, nobody's actually given absolute proof that they're responsible for the attacks, but this morning, Lizard Squad is asking Sony, for instance, can we get estimates on how many dollars you paid for Prolexic? At least I think that's how you pronounce that. And if you look up that company, what that company is a DDoS mitigation service. So it's their job in order to prevent DDoS attacks. So Sony did hire this company at one time. They had a deal dating back to 2011. And these companies try to prevent these types of attacks from happening. But apparently, it's not working. Now, a DDoS attack is not the same as hacking, and a lot of people have claimed that these people are hackers. They're not hackers. As of right now, we don't know that Sony has been hacked. Sony is claiming right now they have not been hacked. They said they simply are having their systems overloaded. So what happens in a DDoS attack is that it's like your computer sending out a request to a server, and it's doing that multiple times over and over and over. And so you may say, well, if it's just, an account doing it repeatedly, why don't you just stop that one account from, hitting your server? And what happens, though, is a lot of people's computers are infected with malware and Trojan horses and all kinds of programs that are hidden that they don't even realize are on their computer. And these are zombies. And what happens is an attacker who created that program, they can then, if they want to put out an attack, say on the PlayStation Network, what can happen is they just launch the attack. It tells all the other computers to kind of boot up and do their job and send signals to wherever it is that they want to attack and try to bring down the service. So what happens if you're on the server end of it, you see all these requests coming in from all these different computers. And because these people don't know their computers are infected, these are legitimate computers that are usually sending these requests. So it's hard to determine when you're actually being attacked and whenever you're trying to actually get a legitimate request from another customer. So a DDoS attack is hard to prevent. But again, there are companies out there that are trying to lower the impact as much as possible. Now, Lizard Squad also apparently tried to attack Microsoft. They called them out. And if you look at the downtime, there was a period on Monday where Xbox was having issues with some people, but it was taken care of pretty quickly, and it also didn't affect a lot of people as well because I was able to log in. And the same thing goes with PlayStation. There's some people who are able to get online with that. So this doesn't affect everybody, and I'm sure it has a lot to do with probably how the systems are set up. I know since Microsoft uses, Azure servers all around the world, I don't know if that helps in that type of attack, and that's why a lot more people are able to stay online with Xbox Live, or how that works. We can only, kind of guess at this point. But anyway, that's the update. Again, this morning, PlayStation Network being taken offline once again by a group claiming to be the Lizard Squad that's doing this. They say that whenever they were asked kind of why they were doing it. At one point, they mentioned that Sony should be investing more money into trying to prevent these sorts of attacks. So their basic reasoning was that, well, we attacked them because they didn't stop us, and they should have stopped us. And that's just kind of retarded, because that's kind of like me walking up and, punching somebody or raping them and then saying, hey, it's your fault. You should have prevented me from doing that. You should have invested more in defense. So, whatever. It sucks because a lot of people who are paying money for a service aren't being able to use that service. And then, especially with it happening on the weekend, a lot of people are pissed off about that, because, you don't have a lot of time for most people in order to sit down and get to play much anyway. And that time is kind of precious. And then that time gets taken off by a bunch of assholes. So, if you want to read more about it, links down in the description box. Stay tuned right here to this channel and to VGN. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.